You might think that an insurmountable border separates land and water. But in truth, a permanent link between both worlds exists. An intimate relationship between hunter and prey. For hundreds of millions of years, sharp-toothed fish, some barely changed in all that time, have waited patiently underwater. Fast and voracious hunters, fish are found in all aquatic ecosystems and are characterized by their cold-blooded efficiency. In almost total darkness, as the day ends, white-tipped reef sharks in the waters around Cocos Island hunt in a hungry pack. In the warm waters of the reef, they search for a fish supper, one big and slow enough for all attempts to escape to be futile. We may believe that fish live in isolation in an inscrutable and inaccessible watery world. But the truth is very different. Salmon. These adults have been maturing in the sea for the last few years. Now it's time to return to the river where they were born to close the circle of their life, dying in order to birth a new generation. Theirs is an epic journey, full of problems to resolve and unsuspected circumstances to overcome. As soon as they enter the river of their birth, they are met by bears waiting in ambush. These bears wait impatiently for the arrival of the salmon at this same location every year. The salmon are an excellent source of food, especially fat, that will allow the bears to survive the coming winter. It's a scene of fishy carnage, with many of the salmon dying in the bears' jaws. But there are so many salmon making their inescapable journey upriver that some do reach the promised land, the very spot in the river where they were born. There they lay and fertilize their eggs. Some species of trout, closely related to salmon, also head upriver from the sea to breed in the cold mountain waters. Rainbow trout, in its natural habitat, divides its life between locations. Most of its life is spent in the sea, but when it's time to reproduce, it looks for clean, fresh, oxygen-rich mountain rivers. Like salmon, rainbow trout head upstream until they're almost at the source of the river. Then males and females find partners for a fertility dance on the sandy riverbed. The females look for somewhere clean on the river bottom where they deposit their gelatinous eggs. Larger females can deposit about 2,000 eggs. Their chosen male, hovering at the female's sides, ejects clouds of sperm into the water. Despite the turbulence of the water, the sperm cells swim upstream in search of the eggs. And so, many eggs are fertilized. And a new odyssey, a life lived constantly against the current, begins. The parents abandon the fertile eggs on the sandy bed of the river. This may look a tranquil paradise, but in reality, it's full of dangers. No one, no matter how insignificant, is safe. Eggs are a delicacy, and many animals avidly await the reproductive season of the trout and other river fish. In these waters, even your enemy can be small. Insects keenly search for fish eggs. Carnivorous dragonfly larva approaches the recently laid eggs. And so, since trout do not care for their offspring, the dragonfly larva can comfortably make off with its spoils. Not far away, a curious species of amphibian, an Iberian ribbed newt, is making a banquet of the succulent orange trout roe. The fish's eggs are utterly defenseless, except possibly for their color and a bit of luck on their side. But most of the eggs have no future. The life of fish is not easy, be it in rivers or seas. Not even the fiercest of fish is guaranteed an easy life. White-tip reef sharks taking a daytime siesta on the seabed. Sharks, the most important hunters of the oceans. The perfection of their design is so effective that it has hardly changed in tens of millions of years. That said, some species are very modern when it comes to reproduction. White-tip reef sharks do not disperse their sperm into the water. Rather, like mammals, they reproduce entirely internally. Males fertilize females during a complex and violent ritual by means of a copulating organ. Males first pursue their female of choice. Only one of any group of males will be successful in passing his genetic material to the next generation with this female. While sharks have evolved the means to guarantee the development of their offspring inside their mothers' bodies, baby trout have it a lot harder. The trout fry are still stuck to the river bottom, hidden in the sand. Their survival at this stage, before they start to swim in a few days' time, is thanks to both a small food sac that their eggs included and their remaining very, very still. At just 1 centimeter long, they gain their freedom and face the new vertiginous challenges of life. Nobody, ever, will take care of them. Very few fish know what it is to feel invulnerable. Enemies may appear from anywhere. Often, they even come from another world. Even if they live underwater and are great hunters themselves, they are rarely safe from terrestrial predators. Some hunters, such as herons and storks, are experts in extracting fish from all kinds of wetland ecosystems. But danger does not only threaten from the aerial world outside. In the great rivers of South America, the water can be almost as dark as the bottom of the ocean. One of the largest fish on the planet, at almost 3 meters long, the arapaima, is one of the thousands of fish species that live here in the Amazon, along with another fearsome species, the piranha. But piranhas are not as fierce as their legend tells. Well, not usually. Most piranhas are quite harmless. Many members of the piranha family are in fact strictly herbivorous. Others feed off detritus they find in the slow-moving waters of the jungle rivers. And since so many piranha species are scavengers, their ecological importance is massive. Piranhas have an excellent sense of smell with which they track down rotting food. Their multitudinous schools patrol the river, keeping it free from infection and preventing putrefaction by removing, with great gusto, any bodies that end up in the water. same rivers, however, are home to a fish whose totally harmless appearance disguises a natural-born killer. Leaf fish. Despite their peaceful, listless demeanor, they're ruthless predators. This is a disconcerting animal with its perfect camouflage serving two purposes. It hides its owner from other river hunters, a great advantage since it has no means of fleeing from enemies at any speed. And makes it the perfect stealth assassin. To all intents and purposes appearing like a drifting leaf, it can approach its victims undiscovered. With almost imperceptible movements, the leaf fish arouses no suspicion. Until it's too late. A final supersonic movement, and no one can get away. Who would have thought a leaf could be so ravenous? Similar strategies of intentional confusion are practiced by other marine fish. The Indonesian archipelago is bathed with warm waters that favor the proliferation of all kinds of aquatic life. Seventy 70% of known Pacific Ocean fish species are concentrated in this region of the globe. 20% of the world's coral reefs are also found here. The fish around the island of Sulawesi are not in danger of being attacked by voracious piranhas, but rather by other fish of incredible shapes and colors, very different from the Amazon leaf fish. This is an unsettling place, located in the Banda Sea. On these otherworldly seabeds, almost like the surface of another planet, one never knows where the attack may come from. Nothing is what it seems. Animals of the most unlikely aspect appear and disappear as if swallowed by the mud. The fish around Sulawesi seem to be the products of the most innovative and modern designers' dreams of madness. These seabeds are a permanent exhibition of color and shape, a catwalk of strange, extravagant models. And at the same time, the stuff of marine nightmares for other small fish. Some fish mimic their environment so well that they're virtually invisible. Here, where it might seem impossible to disappear, it turns out that everyone plays hide and seek. The bodies of some fish allow them to look exactly like a piece of coral or an algae-covered stone. They're all but indiscernible. Until they attack. In the case of stonefish and frogfish, they even use decoys in order to hunt. Although sometimes, keeping still is the best way to get a meal. Here, the big fish eats the small fish is not always the best guide to the menu. Some hunters' mouths are so big that they can swallow a fish the same size as them in a single mouthful. Not far away from this extraordinary location, in the freshwater rivers of Borneo, another underwater hunter lurks. This time, the roles are reversed. Proboscis monkeys watch the river cautiously, taking their time when coming down to the water to drink. Small langurs are also hesitant to quench their thirst. Venturing down to the mangrove can be fraught with danger, especially for the smallest of animals, such as flies and spiders. Unseen threats lie hidden in the turbid interior of the water. In the brackish waters of the mangroves across much of Asia and Oceania, a real executioner lives. Unerring in its ability to bring down animal prey, it's a ruthless sniper. Obtaining its food from beyond the boundaries of its own ecosystem, where its victims feel safe living their unsuspecting lives, the archerfish attacks from the other side of a mirror. Its ammunition, the very water in which it swims. Its mouth palate has a narrow groove that its fine, elongated tongue can close. The result is a tube like the barrel of a rifle. And when its gills squeeze the water in its mouth, it shoots out a jet as if from a pistol. In addition to this perfect weapon, archerfish's eyes have adapted to see out of the water. This means they can calculate not only distance, but also the angle of refraction. The result is a precision weapon that can hit and bring down a moving target such as an insect over 1.5 meters away. When the surprised and helpless prey falls into the water, the jaws of the archerfish are waiting. And the archerfish has yet another capacity that makes it doubly dangerous. Even when a long-distance attack fails, it does not give up. It can still surprise its prey. While archerfish display their exploits in the mangroves of Borneo, in the cold, fresh waters of mountain rivers, the rainbow trout continue to grow. They are now miniatures of their parents, capable of capturing other small, agile animals. By rights, the juvenile trout are already members of the hunting club. But being a predator yourself does not protect you from older, wiser hunters. So the small trout are still in the crosshairs of many fish-eating animals. Some, like the kingfisher, are true hunting machines. Most species of kingfisher live on the banks of rivers or in wetlands. Their lives revolve around the water. Every detail of their bodies is adapted to its function as a hungry harpoon that captures all kinds of underwater animals, including small trout. Kingfishers have no trouble catching appropriately sized minnow. On almost every river in the world, a kingfisher has unsuspecting fish in its sights. On the other side of the planet, from the United States eastern seaboard to the confines of the Mississippi River, highly successful carnivorous fish like perch make their home. These small fish are great hunters. Their tough mouths capable of capturing and swallowing all kinds of insects and other small creatures, including other fish. Introduced by man, perch have conquered all kinds of aquatic ecosystems where they have devastated local fauna populations. But the perch themselves also have enemies, and very smart ones too. Perch's insatiable appetite, combined with their curiosity, draws them into dangerous territories for any fish. The alligator snapping turtle of the southeast of the United States has evolved an infallible trap with which to capture hungry fish. With its mouth open, there appears an enticing, trembling red worm. It appears to be a tempting, solitary, helpless morsel. But it's actually the turtle's tongue, which the reptile flicks to attract the fish. The alligator snapping turtle's camouflage and its absolute stillness allow it to become invisible. The perch has no way of spotting its enemy. it only has eyes for the juicy pink bait. In a flash, the hunter becomes the hunted. The efficiency of the false bait is irresistible. In addition to the perch, other fish hunters in the rivers of America have, with the help of man, invaded half the planet. And their voracity has no limits. A black bass hiding among the vegetation. It looks for the shady parts of rivers or wetlands, where it remains still, tensely waiting. In its behavior, it resembles an underwater feline. It's a predator that hunts by prowling, sooner or later coming across its prey. The black bass is a voracious hunter whose mouth is a weapon of great proportions. It can swallow up to 2 large fish in a single bite. The black bass is a crucial species in its original ecosystems, since it keeps populations of herbivorous fish at bay. Similar to wolves or big cats that hunt herbivores in terrestrial ecosystems, black bass limit the numbers of small fish that eat algae and aquatic plants. Through its predatory efficiency, a balance that allows plants to regenerate and provide shelter and nourishment to a huge number of other small animals is maintained. Juvenile trout are among the creatures that benefit from the effects of hunting fish, as these move to quieter areas of the river where the waters are calmer and the temperature more benign. That said, this is not a peaceful place. It's just these reaches of rivers that are the favorite haunt of another aquatic assassin. Pike, the most formidable river hunter in the Northern Hemisphere. Its fearsome faculties are deployed in rivers across North America, Europe, and Asia. The pike is a solitary freshwater hunter that establishes his hunting territories in calm water. Discreet but murderous, pike like to hide among the vegetation that proliferates around riverbanks. From his hiding place, he calmly observes, expectant, taut with tension. 10% of his body length is taken up with just his snout. The pike's mouth is long, slim, and houses a deadly array of sharp teeth. It's a fast, infallible hunter, an underwater whiplash with devastating effect. As the pike grows, so does its appetite. When small, it hunts small invertebrates, but by the time it exceeds the span of a hand, its diet is exclusively piscivorous. Trout, while themselves good hunters, are no match for a pike, especially when small. The life of small trout is a continuous sequence of shocks, an unending exercise in survival. As the trout grow, their diet becomes more extensive and varied too. Besides small aquatic creatures, their intake is enriched with delicacies from the other side. But it's from this other side, from the terrestrial world, that a terrifying monster arrives. Mammals also enter the fray. Fishing birds, voracious insects, ravenous fish. Beset by a legion of hunters, the trout now comes up against a deployment of whiskers and the curious otters they belong to. Otters can swim as well and as fast as fish themselves. And mature trout are one of their favorite dishes. Perhaps by simply heading out to sea, the trout might find some peace. Maybe their paradise lies off the coast. The rainbow trout is anadromous. Although it spends most of its life at sea, it can survive in both freshwater and saltwater. But even here, there's no peace. Once at sea, it may end up being on the menu for the most savage, primitive hunters of all: sharks. Sharks are large marine predators, their new enemies lurking in every corner. Sardines and mackerel group together in tight shoals, but the sharks attack pitilessly, swallowing them in huge mouthfuls in the middle of the ocean. From the ocean, mature trout and salmon return once again to reproduce, to give the circle of life one more go-around. But once again, new surprises appear, this time from the air. An osprey hunts for the largest trout. Unaware of the danger that bears down on them from the sky. The trout leap from the water in search of flying insects. Little do they know that they are being observed from above. The struggle of life and death among hunters never ends. Aquatic predators do not know the meaning of peace and tranquility. From the depths of the oceans to the clearest of high mountain rivers, the jaws of fish and their enemies open and close incessantly. Eat or be eaten is the simple principle, with no exceptions among the planet's aquatic hunters.